They said it began as a game, a whisper shared between screens, a creature born not of flesh but of fear, tall and faceless, with arms like dark tendrils reaching through the glow of a computer monitor, a myth made for the internet that somehow slipped through the cracks of reality and into the minds of two young girls who would soon prove that belief, even in fiction, can kill, because this is not a story of a monster hiding in the woods. It is a story of two 12-year-olds who believed. They had to kill to prove their loyalty to him, to Slender Man, the viral ghost of the digital age. In the quiet suburb of Waukesha, Wisconsin, 2014, everything appeared ordinary. Laughter echoed in school hallways, bikes leaned against fences, and children spoke in whispers about the mysterious figure they'd read about online. A faceless man in a black suit who appeared in the forest, watching, waiting, hunting, and though adults dismissed it as nonsense, something about the legend stuck deep in young, impressionable minds. Something that made fantasy feel almost real, and in that dangerous blur between imagination and obsession, two girls, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire, began to believe that Slender Man was more than a story. They read the creepypastas like sacred texts, every detail about his mansion in the woods, his power to control minds, his silent wrath for those who doubted him, and soon, whispers turned to planning, because they didn't just want to believe in him. They wanted to serve him, to become his proxies, his chosen ones, to prove their devotion in blood, and the only way, they said, was to offer a sacrifice. The chosen victim was their friend, Peyton Lutner, a bright, trusting girl who had no idea that the sleepover she was invited to would end in the woods, surrounded by whispers of an invisible god. That morning, May 31st, 2014, the three girls went to the park after pancakes, giggling and playing hide-and-seek, the kind of innocent scene that hides a darker heartbeat beneath. Because while Peyton laughed, Morgan and Anissa were carrying knives, hidden but heavy, trembling but determined, and as they lured her into the forest, past the playground, past the laughter, into the silence of the trees, the world around them seemed to change, as if the air itself was watching. They told her they wanted to play a game. They told her to lie down. They told her it would be quick, and then, in a frenzy of madness and delusion, Morgan plunged the knife into Peyton 19 times, her hands shaking, her voice breaking, while Anissa urged her on, saying, "Go to sleep," the same chilling phrase whispered in Slender Man stories online, and in that moment, childhood ended forever. Peyton, bleeding and terrified, crawled out of the woods, each movement fueled by the will to live, dragging herself through dirt and leaves until a passing cyclist found her. And though her voice was faint, her words were enough. "My friends did this." As police swarmed the woods, searching for the attackers, Morgan and Anissa were already walking toward the forest outside town, saying they were going to Slender Man's mansion, saying he would take them in, saying he would keep them safe, because they believed, truly believed, that he was real, that he would appear to them if they only showed loyalty through murder. When the officers found them, they were barefoot, calm, drained of the chaos they'd unleashed, and when asked why, they said it was to prove themselves to Slender Man, to make him stop hurting their families, to show they were worthy to live under his shadow. And in that cold interview room, it was clear, the monster wasn't just online anymore. He had taken root in their minds. In the weeks that followed, the investigation pulled apart the layers of horror, the endless hours the girls spent reading creepypasta stories, the drawings of tall men in black forests, the secret conversations, the quiet spiral of delusion that no one had seen coming. And though adults had created Slender Man as fiction, the internet had given him life, each story, each image, each whisper, giving him power until children started to believe he was more than myth. Psychologists said it was a shared delusion, a perfect storm of mental illness and imagination, that Morgan's early-onset schizophrenia and Anissa's susceptibility created a loop of belief too strong to break. But in the eyes of the public, it was something far more terrifying, proof that the monsters we make can sometimes reach out and touch us. Peyton survived, scarred but alive, her body stitched with the memory of that morning, her mind carrying the trauma of betrayal that no child should ever feel. While Morgan and Anissa were sent to mental institutions, their childhoods dissolved into courtrooms and clinical walls, forever defined by the monster they claim to serve. But Slender Man, the faceless figure who began as a digital ghost, still lingers, not as a supernatural being, but as a reflection of what fear can become when it spreads unchecked, when screens blur the line between real and unreal, when children believe the dark corners of the internet more than their own world. And even now, if you read too long into those old forums, you might still see the posts, the drawings, the fan stories, the confessions, and feel that same cold whisper at the back of your neck, that maybe, just maybe, something beyond pixels is watching, waiting, feeding on belief, because monsters like Slender Man don't need to exist to kill, they only need to be believed in, and belief, as this story proves, can be the most dangerous weapon of all. So when you hear his name again, when you see the pale, featureless face in the forest of your mind, remember the two girls who walked into the woods for him, the friend who bled for their devotion, and the truth that turned fiction into nightmare. Because the scariest part of the Slender Man legend isn't the monster at all, it's the realization that the human mind, once infected by fear, can summon its own demons, and in the end, those demons, not the myths, are what truly make us scream.